Now we'll put it all together. This looks like a lot. These look like hard, complicated problems, but really, we're just adding on one step at a time. We're building on stuff we've already done. Okay? You want to follow these basic steps. First, you want to simplify the expressions that are on either side of the equal sign, and then you want to solve. I've color-coded each of the steps as to what color I'll use for them in the problem. So first, simplifying. We want to simplify the expression that's on either side of the equal sign. First, distribute. There's no distributing in this problem, so we'll move on. Next, collect your like terms. Remember, I'm looking only at this expression and this expression separately. You can only collect like terms on one side of the equal sign or the other. So I've got 3x and negative 5x. That can combine together. Negative 2x plus 4. And these are not like terms, so they cannot be combined. Next, I'll make sure that I have x's on one side or the other. Oh, I have x's on both sides, so I'll move them. Using my algebra trick, I can add 2x to both sides. Then I'll solve. I'll undo what's been done to the x. So go to the side with the x. To undo adding 2, you subtract 2. To undo timesing by negative 2, again, go to the side to the x. Some people are confused. Do I divide by negative 2 or divide by that positive 2? You always want to undo what's been done to the x. So we're going to divide by negative 2. X equals negative 1. Problem. My first step is to simplify my expressions on either side of the equal sign. So I'll distribute and collect like terms. First, distributing. Next, collect like terms. Remember, I'm only collecting like terms on one side of the equal sign or the other. So this side, I have 3x plus 8. And on this side, there are no like terms, so I'll just leave it, 10x minus 20. Next step, get the x's on one side or the other. An equally acceptable step would have been to subtract 10x from both sides. That would have moved the x's to the left side instead of to the right side, like I'm doing. Now I'm down to just a regular old two-step equation. So I'll solve. Go to the side with the x, undo what's been done to the x. To undo timesing by 7, you divide by 7. X equals 4. So first, simplify your expressions on either side of the equal sign. First step is to do the distributive property. Make sure that you're multiplying by negative 4. So negative 4 times 2 will be negative 8. A negative times a negative will be positive 4x. And bring down the 3x. We'll distribute over here as well. Next step to simplifying is to add up your like terms. Remember, only on one side of the equal sign or the other. 3x and 4x make 7x minus 8. So I've worked only on this side of the equal sign. And I'm going to work only on this side of the equal sign. Negative 6 and negative 4, think money, that's negative 10. Next, get rid of x's on both sides. I'll subtract 7x from both sides. Remember, you could subtract 3x from both sides to move them over to the left side too. That would be fine. Don't forget that negative with the 8. The negative goes with the sign it's in front, the term it's in front of. Think money, $3, and then you lose 7. You're now 4 in the hole. Now we're down to a two-step equation. Go to the side that has the x. To undo subtracting 10, you add 10. To undo timesing by negative 4, you divide both sides by negative 4. X equals negative 1/2. These practice problems, stop the video and try the problems on your own. If you don't have any troubles, fast forward to the end of the video to check your answers. Otherwise, unpause the video to see how the problems are worked. On the first problem, I want to simplify my expressions before I start to solve. So I have two expressions, 6x plus 3 on one side and 5x minus 4 plus 2x on the other side. I want to simplify each of those individually before I start. I would start with the distributive property, but there isn't any. So now I add like terms. 6x plus 3. Those are not like terms, so they cannot be added. On this side of the equals sign, the 5x and the 2x can be combined to be 7x minus 4. Now that I have both my expressions on either side of the equal sign simplified, I can move my x's to one side or the other. I'll use my algebra trick, subtracting 6x from both sides. That makes this add up to be 0. So I just have 3 equals 7x minus 6x is 1x, or x, minus 4. Now I can undo what's been done to the x. So go to the side with the x and undo what's been done to the x. So the undo of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So x is equal to 7. Next problem. Simplify your expressions first. Notice a negative times a negative 4 times negative 2x is a positive 8x. Bring everything else down. Next, add like terms. On this side of the equation, 5x and 8x makes 13x. On this side, negative 4 and positive 6 can be combined, again, think money, to be a positive 2. Now I can move my x's to one side. Think money, I had $6, I lose 13, I'm now 7 in the hole. Now I'm down to a two-step equation. So go to the side with the x and undo what's been done to the x. Think money, you lose 12, you lose 2, you're 14 in the hole. To undo timesing by negative 7, you divide by negative 7. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. X equals 2.